What is an internal pressure that causes family conflict? I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds, child development, and education, all through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're talking about what causes family conflict. No one likes family conflict. And we all know that emotionally it starts to feel very uncomfortable within the family if people aren't getting along. But some of the internal pressures facing a family are things that we can actually do something about. So in this video, let's talk about some of the internal pressures that might be leading to some family conflicts, and let's take it a step further and say, what can you do about those things? Internal pressure, what does that mean? That means it's not something that happens on the outside of you. It's not something that happens to you. It's something that happens inside of you or inside your family dynamic. Usually an internal pressure would be like an emotional pressure, something that puts us in bondage. Emotions can either tell us when something needs to be fixed, can even unite us with other people, or can actually put us into emotional bondage. We have to be very careful about how we process our emotions and analyze them and make sure that we are choosing the emotional responses that will lead us to become the best versions of ourselves and to actually solve our problems. Many times emotional power struggles are used within families, but those don't actually solve a lot of the problems. They just create frustration, selfishness, pride, resentment, and actually fracture family relationships. When people feel fear and pride and insecurity, this actually fuels family conflict. It leads to power struggles. So this means that a person is catering to their emotions and allowing their emotions to start to control their environment around them or the other people. This makes it so that the people in the family start to feel misunderstood, ignored even sometimes, or even downright bullied. There is a tug of war that exists emotionally. When someone's having some internal pressures going on, there's a tug of war that exists between the desire to control what's going on and the desire to connect. That's an important dynamic to understand. Everyone wants to feel connected with the people around them, but then there's also this desire to want to have things go your way, to decrease your frustrations, and to make you feel more secure, less fearful, like everything is working out the way that you desire. If you give in to control, and that's what wins the tug of war, then you are engaging in family power struggles. Is it possible to have a connection and to solve problems, to maintain boundaries without seeking to control and power struggle with other people in your family? The answer is yes. So let's talk about what to do with that. Oftentimes when families have conflict, it's because they're being emotionally reactive. So what do you do if you don't want to be emotionally reactive? You've got to replace the habit. In order to change a habit, you have to replace it with a new habit. So the best thing that you can do if you're striving to have self-government is to be proactive and deliberately plan ahead of time and how you will handle problems before they actually occur. When a person is proactive with their self-government, they decide where they're headed, what's my end goal maybe in this interaction, and then what's my end goal in the relationship or in the family. So you're going to have big overarching visions and goals, and then small moments where you work for small little goals. But either way, you're planning, all the time planning, and then asking yourself questions. What skill do I need to use at this time? How should I best communicate with these people? What is it that I'm not seeing? What do I need to see? Am I understanding? Can they properly understand me? How's my calmness? How's my tone? When you take the time to do self-examination, this type of self-government actually deters family conflict because you're starting to now focus on self-government. And that's what this channel is all about. So if you've already subscribed to this channel, then you know the definition of self-government is being able to determine the cause and effect of any given situation and possessing a knowledge of your own behaviors so that you can control them. So that means you understand cause and effect, and you are regularly examining yourself to see how you're doing at actually making better choices for you. In fact, the whole concept of self-government hinges on the idea that you can make a choice, and if you honestly evaluate the outcomes of those choices, you can continually improve and make better choices all the time. I'm a pretty emotional person, actually. I would say that there were many years of my life, especially when I was a young adult and when I was a young parent, where I was much more emotionally charged. Maybe it was hormonal, maybe not, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I needed skills. And once I started learning those skills like how to drop the subject instead of keep thinking about something, skills like how to keep a calm face, voice, and body, how to say okay and be okay, how to disagree appropriately with other people, and how to accept a no answer when I didn't get my way or I didn't get to be in control. Those were key things that I got to learn, and they helped me become a better version of myself, to become more self-governed. These things also decreased the conflict with my siblings, my parents, and my spouse. So of course, when I started training my children, my foster children, teaching them the skills and principles of self-government, just like I had learned, made complete sense. Over time, I changed from being a person who was worried about being right and maintaining enough control over a situation to a person who was worried about controlling themselves. I didn't want to control everyone around me because my focus was on controlling me, becoming the best version of myself, and even if I didn't get my way all the time, choosing to be okay. Calmness is hard. It makes a big difference. It's probably the #1 thing that someone could do to change their family dynamic so that there is less calmness. You can't force calmness on another person. You can only choose it for yourself. So teaching the principle of calmness, teaching the skills that you can use to choose calmness so that you don't fall into old habits, is going to make all the difference. Because remember, to change a bad habit, you have to replace it with a good habit. So I have a Calm Parenting Toolkit that I would love to share with you, and you can have it for free right now. On my website, teachingselfgovernment.com, I have a Calm Parenting Toolkit with 10 tools for calmness that you can get on the homepage right now for free. Once you learn those 10 tools of calmness, then you'll be ready to learn some of the other skills and principles of self-government that will help you learn the scripts that you need so that you don't fall into those old habits of conflict. Go to teachingselfgovernment.com today. I'll see you there.